Welcome back to the Always Thinking Mindset channel, where we give you positive vibes and simple rules to achieve your goals. Now, in today's episode, we are going to speak on the Stoic mindset, how to control your thoughts and don't worry about everything that is beyond your control. But if you like today's video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. It does help the algorithm. And if you like this channel, I think you know what you need to do here. But as always, we start off with a quote. So let's go ahead and get to it. It says, "You have the power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." Mr. Marcus Aurelius, which is a Roman Empire, one of the Stoics, one of the greats here, he hits on the fact that you have a power over your mind and you're able to control that. That is the only thing you're allowed to do, because the outside external events don't dominate what you are and what you think of. Now, if you let it, that's a whole different ballgame. But once you master your mind, once you're able to understand who you are, what you let in, and how you reflect everyday life, that is the life you live. It's that simple. So Mr. Marcus Aurelius, he came in and pretty much said, don't worry about things that are not in your control. Worry about the things that you can only control, which is yourself. Obviously, your eating habits, sleeping habits, reading, anything pertaining to your mind and body. That's what you should be worrying about. So let's go ahead and get started on the first rule. The first rule is pretty much being present, right? What does that mean, being present? Because a lot of what we do, we circle back to how we have ambitious goals and strive, and I'm guilty in myself on this, but we forget how to be present, right? Because we're always thinking of the future, or sometimes we even dwell on the past too much. Dwelling on the past, it's not going to change anything, right? It already came, it's gone. Learn from it and move on. It's that simple. But to be in the present, that is the hardest thing to do, because we have come to a standard that we're always seeking, always wanting more, right? Even Epictetus spoke on having desires, which causes time for you to, go out and try to get more material possessions. But in the end, you're losing the time that you have now here in this present tense. So being more present, you're being able to control your thoughts and not worry about external events. Don't worry, problems are going to happen. But in the end, you have to realize that it's you, your mind, your mentality, and where you're at. Being present is all we have right now. If I can touch this, I'm talking to you, being present here, right? If I stay stuck in the future, then I diminish the present. So in the end, you have to learn how to maneuver yourself, your thoughts, your ideas, and just be with your family, friends, your loved one. Just be. Right? Don't plan for anything. Obviously, you have short-term goals, but what I'm saying is that you cannot be a worry wart and just focus on the future, right? Just always wanting more. So that is number one rule of how to control your thoughts and don't worry about external factors. Now, the second one is don't anticipate problems, right? This is something that even I'm working on, but people get into this frenzy of just overthinking, overanalyzing, overdoing, overstudying, whatever it is, right? And in the end, we get caught up in a bind to where we're trying to anticipate to solve the problem or to get ahead, and it doesn't work that way, because problems are going to happen. We don't know when, right? Just like when you get a flat tire in your car, you didn't plan for it, but that's the idea, is that you cannot control outside events, right? That wasn't planned within your day. The only thing you could do is, once you get that flat tire, then you deal with it then. But to anticipate problems, that leads to worrying, overthinking, and that is beyond that Stoic mindset, right? Those are external factors that you had to deal with. Now, to say that, overthinking is a bad thing, it depends how much you do, because just like anything, if you anticipate, seeing the cup half empty, then you're always going to see the cup half empty. But if you see it half full, you're going to see it half full. So it's a more of a practice, a mindset of understanding not to deal with problems until they come. Try not to worry. I know it's easier said than done. Even I have a problem with that, right? Because there's sometimes I feel that there's problems that I can kind of maneuver around so they won't come so aggressively and just brace for impact. But in the end, it kind of ruins the day, because here you are, imagining a problem in your head rather than it actually coming in reality and dealing with the problem. So that is rule number 2. Now, on the final rule we're here to speak on, you are what you think of, right? Marcus Aurelius spoke on this. He kind of said that you are painted by your thoughts. This means that whatever you put into your mind, whatever information you give yourself, that is what you're going to reflect on, right? So if you put in negative thoughts, you're going to be a negative person and just have that negative mindset. But if you have positive thoughts, you're going to have a positive mindset. It's easier said than done, right? We can sit here and we can go back and forth and trade quotes and all this good stuff. But the Stoic mentality of controlling your thoughts and don't worry about things that are beyond your control, that's every single day practice, right? Because one day you're on top of the world, you're like, yes, I got this, I have control, we're good. And then something happens and you're like, forget this, I need to worry about this now. And in the end, the mindset of controlling something that you can control is where you want to be at, right? Because if you're worried about somebody else's actions, somebody else's judgment, somebody else's problems, that's beyond what you can control. That is a big no-no. So in the end, it's about just worrying about you being in the present. Don't worry about outside events. The whole issue with life is just that it's sort of, the saying is it's a journey, not a destination. So can you imagine living a life where you're just constantly in fear, worrying about dying every single day until you do die? That's not a life anybody wants to live. So in the end, you have your mind, your thoughts, your goals and passion, but it's one of those things to master, to work on, to have a Stoic mindset. But not only that, work on it, right? Every day. Every day we have the opportunity of how we think, how we maneuver, and just reading the books, the podcasts like this one. But just every chance you get, try to better yourself every single day from what you did last time. So remember, you are in competition with yourself only. Never compare yourself to anybody else, right? And that pretty much sums up today's episode. So if you like today's episode, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you like this video, then you already know what to do. Now, I have other social media platforms on here, and you're willing to check it out. But until next time, we will speak soon.